Hello everyone, Shooty here again. So I decided I wanted to talk about Modern Warfare 2, but there are more than one Modern Warfare 2s now, and I feel like instead of just sitting here and rambling about Modern Warfare 2, I'm going to instead talk about both versions of the games and compare and contrast them. I definitely feel like there is a major difference in quality between the two games, and that being the original Modern Warfare 2 is better than the new Modern Warfare 2. I don't think the new Modern Warfare 2 is a very good game, campaign wise. Mostly campaign wise, and that's what I'm going to be talking about is the campaign. And that's it. I will not be talking about the multiplayer of either Modern Warfare 2 games. One, because I don't feel like that's fair to the original Modern Warfare 2 because I have not had a versatile experience playing Modern Warfare 2 on online multiplayer. My experience playing Modern Warfare 2, in fact, when it came to multiplayer, was me and my brother would play split screen, and we would set the matches so there was no score limit, and the countdown timer would stop after 30 minutes. Um, and that's how me and my brother used to play split screen Call of Duty all the time. So I didn't play as much regular online multiplayer as other people did, and I don't feel like it'd be fair for me to compare and contrast the two multiplayers. So instead, I will be focusing on the multiplayer because I have played the main Modern Warfare 2 campaign, the original one, a lot, and I love it a lot. So I feel like it's only fair that I compare it and contrast it to the new one because um again, I don't feel like it's a very good campaign, the new Modern Warfare 2. We'll call it, for now on, we'll call it MW2 22 versus OG MW2. That's what we'll call it for now on. So, MW2 22, I don't feel like the campaign's very good. And I want to talk about what I don't think is good about it, but I don't want to be like other YouTubers and stuff where when they talk about negative things, all they're doing is ranting and raving about how bad it is. Instead, I would rather compare it to something that is good to give a baseline and give an idea of what they could have probably done better and try to be more positive about it. Because I feel like that is something that lacks in a lot of negative reviews is um, a more constructive element. I don't feel like a lot of negative reviews are as constructive as they could or should be. I feel like it's just more like an angry neckbeard gets in front of the camera and just screams at it and cries about how his favorite thing is ruined. And while your feelings might be valid about it being ruined, and maybe your criticisms might be valid, I don't feel like it's conducive to finding improvement. Do I expect some Call of Duty dev to watch this video or the rest of the videos on this topic and take it seriously and take everything to heart? Not really, but it feels good to talk about these things to me because um, I guess it's just because I have a lot of thoughts on it and I would like to put them out there. So with that out of the way, I'm going to be now talking about Modern Warfare 2. Compare and contrast. So, I'm not gonna review this the way I normally do, where I sit here and bumble my way through the plot, um, and then go on to the other things. Instead, I've decided I want to break down what I feel like are key elements to both games, uh, and focus on them in one video at a time. So, in this video, I decided for the first one, I would talk about something that I feel like modern entertainment gets wrong a lot. And for one reason or another, I feel like they get it wrong all the time. And that being the villain. Um, whether it be that a villain is way too two-dimensional, or maybe they're too sympathetic. Uh, I feel like modern entertainment gets this a lot wrong a lot, and I feel like MW2 22 kind of exemplifies that with their new current roster of villains. Um, and I don't feel like they fall on the sympathetic side of the scale per se. Maybe one of them does. I feel like they fall too close. They fall somewhere close to the two-dimensional side of the scale, but not for the right reasons. I feel like they're very shallow villains, but also very just overall not well written, not well understood, or any of that. It's to set up what I feel about the villains in MW222. I'm going to focus first on the OG Modern Warfare 2 villains, and that being General Shepard and the secondary villain of the game, Makarov. So, if you haven't played OG Modern Warfare 2 by now for some reason, spoiler warning. In fact, just spoiler warnings for both games in general here. We'll just get that part out of the way. But for now, I think I want to focus on Shepard in particular, and Shepard from both games. Because while Makarov in OG Modern Warfare 2 is an interesting villain in his own right, I feel like he's not the primary villain in this game, which I know sounds weird because he literally shoots up an airport in OG Modern Warfare 2, but that's the thing, is it's almost the only thing he does in the entire campaign of OG MW2. He doesn't actually do much in that campaign. The standout villain is Shepard, and he's not just a villain that's put out there and you know he's a villain. He's a surprise villain, and he's a well set up surprise villain. And this has kind of got some element in the new Modern Warfare 2. They do follow some of those same suits with the new Modern Warfare 2 Shepard. Not quite as well, maybe more obvious in a way. If you're good at paying attention, it might be more obvious than the OG Shepard. But I digress. What makes Shepard such an effective villain is his setup. Shepard is set up from the beginning to be a glory hound. Shepard gives at least 2 monologues at the beginning of the game talking about the previous game, events of the previous game, talking about the glory of America and how we're the best of the best. We're getting monologues about like history and who determines history and whatnot. Well, and that's all fluff that's meant to set up Shepard's character. Shepard being a glory hound. He loves being the hero. That's what Shepard views himself as. In the campaign, in Modern Warfare 2's campaign, you could see Shepard in the first mission. In the first mission, I'm trying to record this and my family's downstairs just being loud. You can see Shepard in, I guess, the technically first mission, unless if you're gonna count the shooting range, which I'm not gonna count that as the first mission. That's more of a tutorial of sorts. The first mission, you can see Shepard leading his battalion from the front. He's not the typical thing you think of a general who sits in a control room with computer monitors everywhere, and he's just got his arms crossed and he's barking orders at soldiers who he can't see. Shepard's literally down in the trenches with his guys, giving orders from the front. That's not something you normally see generals do nowadays, and that when you see that as when you're the player, it commands some level of respect, whether that's consciously or subconsciously, when you see your leader in the trenches with you. It kind of makes you think that, hey, you know what, this guy's kind of a badass. This guy cares about his men. He understands what his men are going through. To top it all off, Shepard's also been... He's not even technically in charge of the battalion he's with. He's actually there looking for recruits for his special task force. So to top it all off, he's not just the leader of these guys, really. He's just a visitor, and he's just with the guys, and he's not actually in charge of them. So you have like this element of a leader who can give these great speeches. He's down in the trenches with his men and stuff, and that's meant to trick you into thinking that Shepard's some kind of like hero. And when in reality it is he's a glory hound. He just likes to be in front of the parade. And that's what it all boils down to when it comes time to get Makarov. Getting Makarov for Shepard isn't really even a revenge mission for him. And what I mean by revenge mission is in in Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the original Modern Warfare, there's famous scene of a nuke going off and it kills a bunch of Marines and stuff. 40,000 Marines in particular. That's a lot of fucking Marines dead. That was Shepard's operation, and it blew up in his face. And he lost a lot of men that day. And he talks about this later on in the game. And that's not because he actually, in the end, cared that he lost these men. He, once again, is more talking about the glory of winning a battle when it comes down to it. He's not talking about how I'm going to get Makarov for killing my men. He's saying there's going to be no shortage of recruits, and it's going to be this like big glorious battle to Shepard. This is all a grab for heroism to him. This isn't a revenge mission. This isn't a let's bring Makarov to justice. This is all basically a ruse because he just likes the glory of battle, and that's all this is to him. So now that we understand what Shepard is as a person and what his motives are, we need to understand now how they set up his betrayal in the end. So, to recap why he betrays the players, Task Force 141 in the end, is because Shepard's trying to cover up his biggest fuck up of all. Now, you would think his biggest fuck up is losing 40,000 Marines, but that's not nearly his worst fuck up. Shepard's biggest fuck up is starting a war between America and Russia and having the Russians invade America on their own soil. That's Shepard's biggest fuck up. In his goal, in his efforts to capture his white whale, which is Makarov, Shepard accidentally gives Makarov a very crucial tool that Makarov will use and need to start a war between America and Russia. And because of this, Shepard now needs to get rid of all evidence that he was involved in it. And the setup is very subtle and almost unnoticeable, but weird things do start happening. During the Russian invasion of America, the second mission in particular, I believe it was the mission's called Honey Badger. It's the mission where you're going in with the APC named Honey Badger. Towards the end of the mission, Shepard takes command of your unit, and he wants you to go to this specific house and look for a high-value target. And when you get there, the high-value target's already dead, but there is a briefcase full of information he needs you to collect. Why is this briefcase full of information so important that you need to collect it? Interesting. We don't know the answer to that, though. Because a group of Army Rangers who are just doing their jobs, handed that information over to Shepard. And now we don't know what's in that briefcase, but we have an idea what it is, and it's probably information that implements Shepard in this war. And then Shepard tries to take out Task Force 141, one of his biggest loose ends, because they know the truth about the war. They know that the Zakhaev airport was Shepard's op, basically. They know that Shepard handed Makarov an undercover agent who Makarov then betrayed, and that's how the whole war started. Task Force 141 knows this information, and Shepard can't allow them to have that information, so he tries to take them out too. Shepard doesn't only try to take the glory of capturing Makarov, he literally tries to bury the truth so that way he can be victorious. In fact, Captain Price says this line the best.
If he lives and we die, his truth becomes written and ours is lost.
Shepard is now, as we established, he's a glory hound, he's a liar, but now we have to establish that he's also a coward. Shepard, in the beginning of the game, faces an enemy with his battalion. In the first mission of the game, we'll go back to, he's fighting with his men on the front lines. But that's because he's facing a foe he knows he can defeat. The foe you're facing in the beginning of the game is the remnants of Khaled al-Assad's military from Call of Duty 4. They don't establish it very well, but basically Khaled al-Assad's the remnants of his military, they fled to Afghanistan, and that's why the Americans are in Afghanistan, is because they're trying to clean up the remnants of his failed military coup. So these guys are established all the way back in Call of Duty 4 of not being the best military force to be faced against. They're not very strong. Their weapons and stuff are antiquated, and their tactics are ineffective against the world's best military, the United States military. So when Shepard's standing side by side with his men in the beginning of the game, it's not because he actually, he's like there for the fight. He's there because he knows that the enemy will be defeated. If you contrast that now with the end of the game, and the end of the game being when Price and Soap go after Shepard. Shepard knows he's going to lose, so he flees. He doesn't stay with Shadow Company and help them fight Captain Price and Soap. He doesn't stand his ground. He flees. He runs like a coward because he knows he will lose that fight if he stays and fights. Shepard's no brave war hero or any of that. He's a coward and a failure. Shepard is basically the biggest loser in Call of Duty history. The guy wants to be a big-time war hero, but he's failed twice, getting a whole lot of people killed. And his only way of basically being the top guy is to lie about it. And he's not even capable of achieving his goals. He's too much of a coward to achieve his goals. He needs to have the might of the U.S. military on his side. He needs to have stronger people around him. Shepard is a big piece of shit, to sum it all up. And that is, like, why he is such a good villain, is because it's, you don't see this until you carefully dissect it. If you're just playing Modern Warfare 2, Shepard just comes across as generic general man. But if you're actually paying attention, you can see the cracks in the wall. You can see what kind of character Shepard is. He's not a just generic general. He's some kind of loser, poser, coward. And that's why he makes him such a cool villain, is because you don't see his betrayal coming. You don't see it coming. It just happens. And it surprises you when it happens, because unless if you were paying attention very carefully, there's no like actual signs that he's going to betray you. It's just like, yeah, okay, he shoots Ghost in the gut, and then he shoots Soap, or Roach. No big, actually he does that in the reverse order. You can tell I've played this game way too much. That's why Shepard is such a good villain for Modern Warfare 2. And in truth, Makarov would be the standout villain, except Makarov, again, he does one big evil deed in the beginning of the game, and then he vanishes for the rest of the game. And you only hear about him because everyone talks about him. Everybody's obsessed with Makarov. But nobody is looking at the guy, the coward next to them, who's been slowly and surely getting ready to fuck everyone over. So, that's what makes Shepard such a effective villain, is you don't see him coming until it's too late. Now, I want to contrast this against MW2 2022's General Shepard.
His son has been passing out our ballistic missiles like it's fucking Halloween, and we didn't know about it?
You executed him and you will pay for your crimes. Allah وحده قادر على مساعدتك.
I want this bastard in permanent custody or looking up at the goddamn grass.
As long as there is a war on terror, there will be no real war on drugs.
So, MW2 2022's General Shepard is everything that OG Shepard is, but watered the hell down. It's like you ordered a drink at the bar, and the drink was just Jack Daniels in a glass, and they filled the glass 3/4 of the way with water, another 1/8 of the way with water, and then the rest of it was Jack Daniels. There's not a whole lot there that helps the new General Shepard feel like a character. I think the best way to get that point across is to point out the casting choice for General Shepard. So the original General Shepard was voice acted by Lance Hendrickson, and to list off the things Lance Hendrickson has been in over the years would be absolutely asinine, because he has been in a lot, from movies to TV shows to films. But I think some of his more outstanding roles was, I think he was in the Mass Effect series. I'm actually looking at the list now, and the list is not very well organized, but I'm pretty sure he's in Mass Effect. He's in, obviously, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, he was in Mass Effect. He's in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. He's in Detroit Become Human, The Quarry. There's a lot of uh okay, I'm just looking at his credits real quick. I just want to So in Mass Effect he plays Admiral Stephen Hackett. And in The Quarry they named his character Jedediah Hackett. I don't know if that's a coincidence or if that's like them trying to be clever. Anyway, either way, he's in a lot, and a big thing that helps him out in his voice acting is his very iconic voice. So, very Shepard, like OG Shepard, not only is like has this like iconic voice and his like even his look is iconic. It's a lot that helps Shepard be a rememberable character. So when you contrast that with Shepard from the new Modern Warfare 2, it kind of feels like it kind of feels like a joke in a way. So when you compare that to the performance given by Glenn Morshower, um, who is by no means a bad actor, he's a fine actor, but anytime you've ever seen Glenn Morshower, he plays generic, bald general guy. He's not the standout character. He's the guy who you want there to like be like this commanding officer who's like, "What are you talking about, Sergeant? We need to hold back these aliens," or he's like that kind of guy. Like not bad actor, but I mean it's like you picked him. It's kind of like it's like you probably couldn't have found a more generic general guy. And he's in a lot of movies and TV shows too. Like I said before, he's actually like probably the go-to guy for like a generic general. He's in like a bunch of the Transformers movies. I'm looking at his filmography right now. Um, he's in like, and he's not only in like a whole bunch of movies and shit. He's in the original fucking. He's like the original voice actor for Overlord in Modern Warfare 2, the OG Modern Warfare 2, and in Call of Duty 4. Like he's literally the guy who's like the generic general who calls you on the radio. He literally is already in Call of Duty. He's even the announcer for the FBI in Black Ops 2 multiplayer. And then I think he's in. I think he's also in Black Ops 3, maybe 4. I can't remember. He's in a bunch of Call of Duty games already. This guy is like literally go to. I need a generic. I need a generic Overlord voice. Oh, this is Overlord. Send traffic, Goliath. We spot 30,000 tangos with RPGs and copies of My Hero Academia, Volume 17, on their way right now. It's like, like that's like who he is. So when you pick that guy to be your villain, it doesn't really work. You want somebody When you want somebody to be your villain, they should probably kind of have like a standout element to them, and he doesn't really stand out. He's more like wallpaper, and I don't mean that as an insult, because he's good at wallpaper, and that's what makes him great. Is you see him and it's like, oh yeah, he's just a general man. Okay, cool. Um, he's just not. He's just not villain material. Um, and that quality of him being kind of generic and not very outstandish trickles into the rest of his character. When they first introduce him, I can't remember exactly what they say, but CIA lady walks in and she's like, "Hey, General Shepard, we got bad guys." And he's all like, kind of just like, "Oh, well, they better be in a body bag." It's like, yeah, okay. And then the hints that they give that he's going to betray you later on, they're more obvious in this, and that's because the way this game was written, it wasn't written like the other Call of Duty games were, with like subtlety and nuance. These games were written with like a fucking hammer, and a jackhammer at that. A couple of times in the game, they make it. The hints are obvious if you're paying attention. They're not obvious, though, if you're not paying attention. You don't have to be smart, though, to see these hints. Like this one part here where they're like, they got the Hassan in a fucking desert.
Butchering me. Who'd you get American missiles from?
I don't care who they're from. I want to know where they're going.
So, they set him up. It's not like they make his surprise betrayal a thing later on in the game, or like just like, it's not like a Disney film where suddenly this guy who's like really friendly turns out to be the bad guy. He's set up to be the bad guy, but the means of setting him up are sloppy and lackluster by comparison to the original. They don't have a lot of... There's like, yeah, no real nuance to his character. He's just kind of like a generic general. And on top of that, he ends up looking more like a bumbling idiot than Shepard does. Like, when Shepard fucks up, it's usually he's in the action of trying to do something right. And it sounds like a competent plan, is what I should say. His plan looks sound and competent, but then something goes wrong. This Shepard looks like a bumbling idiot because his plan is like garbage from the beginning. So the way this Shepard fucks up is... Spoiler warning for the new Modern Warfare 2 game, if you care about it, you know, too late. So this Shepard was trying to give missiles to the good guys in generic Middle Eastern country, which name I can't remember. He was trying to sell them some ballistic missiles that they could use against Alcatraz, AQ, they're called, basically. And the problem is instead of like putting these missiles on some kind of aircraft or something that could probably avoid narrow roads that are sidelined on each side by fucking caves and caverns and stuff. Instead of doing that, he sends this convoy of mercenaries who are driving pickup trucks into basically super Afghanistan, where of course they get ambushed and they get their fucking missiles stolen. Because the whole plan was stupid from the beginning. Now, his goal was ultimately relatively a good thing. He wanted to give good guys some weapons. The problem is this was like leaving the fucking... This is like worse than like leaving the chicken coop door open. This was literally like he left a fucking trail of bait leading up to the fucking chicken coop. And the fox, of course, got in and killed all the chickens. This guy He didn't and to top it all off, he doesn't give him any kind of air support. And when they do, when Shadow Company does ask for air support, he's like, no, LOL. And then it's like, okay, well, what the fuck? I guess we're dead then. Like, no real foresight, no real actual planning, just kind of, you just kind of is like, I don't know, make it happen, and then tell me where those tangos are. It's like, so like, what the fuck? The guy's like an idiot, basically, and it's just like, um, I can't stand fiction that has a villain or even heroes for that matter. I can't stand fiction where the plot relies on people being idiots. Now, mistakes can happen, people can make mistakes, and that's actually how a plot would progress. But I can't stand it when the plot is literally everybody's an idiot. And that's what this was everyone's a fucking idiot. And that's just like the main villain, Shepard. That's not getting into some of the side villains. Well, actually, Shepard's not even the main villain in this game. He unlike OG Modern Warfare 2, he survives and gets away. And it was totally fucking stupid, too, because it's like he betrays Task Force 141 and tries to kill them. But unlike, uh, unlike OG Modern Warfare 2, where Task Force 141 only communicated with General Shepard, they didn't have, like, outside communication. So when their literal leader tried to kill them, and they had no way to contact anybody for help, in Modern Warfare 2 2022, Task Force 141's not led just by General Shepard. It's also led by Captain Price and this CIA lady. So, and the CIA lady, she can communicate with literally anybody and everybody at the Pentagon. So when Task Force 141 gets betrayed, it's not like in OG Call of Duty MW2 where Task Force 141 becomes disavowed and they're like hunted as like terrorists. In this game, they're literally they're literally like, oh yeah, like literally everybody knows Shepard's an asshole at the end of the game. Like everybody knows, and Shepard like escapes. Like like what the fuck? How is he not like detained immediately? How is he not arrested like the moment he like it became clear that he was up to no good? I don't understand this. He should, that would have been like top priority is, hey, this general is incompetent and he's trying to fuck with shit. Let's arrest him. But no, apparently not. The other villain in this game is Hassan, and all I could say when I picture that is I literally picture that socialist guy from Twitch. And I imagine if I watched this socialist guy from Twitch, I imagine that this Hassan guy literally would sound like him, because that's what Hassan sounds like. In this video game, Hassan sounds like a college kid.
No. Of course not. Then I'll speak your bastardized medieval English. Because you're all uneducated street dogs.
See, we're getting off to a bad start here, son.
You're talking to Al-Quds Force officer.
You're the commander of a foreign terror organization.
I can say the same to you.
What?
Like, it doesn't sound like an actual terrorist, per se. He sounds like a fucking college kid. Like, the way a college kid, oh, America's the real terrorists, and they're the real evil, and blah, blah, blah. Like, he that's what he sounds like. He doesn't sound like a fucking... He doesn't sound like a foreboding, fictional villain.
They're right on time. Check your weapons and ammo.
I've waited a long time for this.
Haven't we all?
We sent a strong message to this attack, Makarov.
That was no message. This is a message.
And that's all I really got to say about Hassan, because you just, like, you fucking gank him at the end of the game, and he's not in the game a lot, but the few times he is, he's just kind of really annoying. What the hell was his name? I already forgot his name. Graves. Philip Graves. Clever name. Philip Graves is the Shadow Company commander in this game, and he's just kind of, like, unlikable the whole time. Like, I struggled to ever feel connected to his character, and he just kind of a dick the whole time. And at the end of the game, Philip Graves turns into a fucking, he turns into like a toxic kid in multiplayer. Essentially, he's just taunting you the whole time. I'm better than you into his microphone as he's trying to kill you with a tank. Oh, I get 360 no scope any task force member any time of the day. It's really, like, kind of just dumb and stupid. Not a very good or clever villain by any means. Let's see. I'm running out of Pepsi. The other villain is Valeria, and my god, I wish you could have killed her. Valeria is, her character is sassy Latino woman in charge of drug cartel. And, God, is she fucking stupid or what? Her role in the game is she's in charge of the drug cartel, and the drug cartel is helping Alpha AQ. They're helping AQ smuggle their missiles and helping them into the country. And you catch her, and she gives this stupid fucking line about oh, terrorism's good for business because if there's a war on terror, there's never a real war on drugs. And what I have to now, God, how fucking stupid is that stupid fucking writing and logic? Alright. America literally invaded a country in the early 2000s. I don't know if any of you people have heard this before, but there was this country called Iraq, and we invaded it just because we thought they had fucking WMDs. I don't think they had WMDs. I don't know the whole story. All I know is we thought they had WMDs. We didn't even invade them because we knew. We thought they did. So this dumb bitch literally is helping terrorists smuggle WMDs into the country. And she doesn't think America won't just go like, I guess we're just gonna invade Mexico now, guys. Like, what the fuck? You dumb bitch. You literally basically would turn your narco organization into a fucking terrorist organization. America would literally invade Mexico just to fucking get rid of the drug cartels. Just for alone having those fucking those fucking missiles and shit. Like, what the fuck kind of stupid writing and logic is this? That makes no sense. That makes no fucking sense. I think in real life, the drug cartels actually despise most of the Muslim, radical Muslims and stuff, I should say. I should make that clear. I think I read an article a while ago where the drug cartels were literally like beating ISIS members trying to use cartel border crossings. I don't know if that was 100% true, but it boils down to terrorism not good for business. I don't know who the fuck thought that would be a clever line. It would have been better if they would have just made it turn out that Valeria was like some spiteful bitch who hated America. That would have been better writing than it's better for business. And she says it with her stupid shit eating grin. And we all know she's gonna show up either in the multiplayer or in the sequel game. Kind of hard to tell which one she'll be in. But my God, insufferable bitch, stupid writing, all around just dumb. Should have never been a fucking thing. Hopefully that kind of highlight. Actually, another point I want to make before I cut this off is, you could probably tell by the comparison to MW2 that there's too many villains in this game. Like, yeah, generally speaking, Valeria and Graves work for their respective villain, which is like Shepard and Hassan. But they're kind of these standout characters in on their own, and it's very difficult to sit there in good faith and try to like pretend like they're different, like that they're not really the villains. They're all the villains, but there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Like, Modern Warfare 2 was great because they had a surprise villain you didn't see coming, and and that's the main villain, and then the red herring was Makarov the whole time, and that's what made it so good. Is because you think at the end of the game you're gonna catch Makarov, but in reality you're going to kill Shepard, and that's what made like it so cool. Was because it's like you had one villain to focus on, but then you're given another one towards the end of the game as a surprise. In this game, they're like, yeah, and then like about 3/4 through the game, Shepard's gonna betray you, but you're never really gonna kill him. So we're gonna give you the commander of Shadow Company instead, and you're never really gonna kill Valeria. She's gonna guarantee you she's gonna like escape or whatever. You get to kill Hassan, but Hassan's such a fucking wet noodle of a villain. It's kind of a joke. Literally, you could probably defeat him with like facts and logic or some shit like that. You could probably defeat Hassan with a fucking Ben Shapiro speech or something like that. I just don't. It's just like too many cooks in the kitchen. That's all I gotta say, man. It's too many cooks. So yeah, I'm gonna end this compare and contrast video here because it's almost an hour long now. The next one I think I'm going to focus on the protagonist side because I think there are things to be said about the protagonists in this game too. The villains are not the only bad part in this game. Believe me, everything will get talked about at some point. Anyway, take care.